I'm a living legend, I can't die, no, I can't die. I'm a living legend, I can't die, no, I can't die. I'm a living legend, I can't die, no, I can't die. Ay, I'm a living legend, I can't die, no, I can't die. Everybody giving me advice is never right. That is why I only listen to my own advice. I'm a living legend, I can't die, no, I can't die. Ay, I'm a living legend, I can't die, no, I can't die. Label me a rock star, cause I rock and I shine. Y'all wasting your time, swear this world is mine.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to another episode of Foursquare. We're your hosts. My name is Alex.
It's your boy, Jeff.
I'm Max.
And I'm Lucas.
Now, before we get this kicked off, I would just like to recognize that we try to do something special with our backgrounds, but you know, it's one square here that just always likes to be different and be difficult. I don't know. I mean,
okay,
you got the Mac, but
yeah, Max. Trying to be different.
I got a Mac, so you can't talk.
Exactly. Like I follow through. We was matching the energy.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You know what? Y'all want to get on my case. Let's talk about the fact that y'all put your own pictures on the background. Y'all are vain and egotistical.
We are amazing.
Textbook
everybody.
Narcissists.
Wow.
Well, it's not even that. Let's go ahead and let the fellow squares out there know that this may or may not be the last Zoom video. And that's where I'm gonna leave it there.
Gasp!
Egad!
Shocked reaction.
Man, hey, did any of y'all catch the Olympics or the Paralympics that just came out?
A little bit.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little something, man. A little something,
here and
man.
there.
I caught the race walking, man. You know how they go, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
This is the funniest walk I've ever seen. They are doing the cha-cha, boy.
No, I'm dead serious. I thought at one point they were gonna actually play some music. Everyone's just gonna go.
Them boys be moving though. No cap. No cap.
But they be really like full bullet sweating, like really just.
They
they
are going
right there.
Focus.
That's that waist work.
Oh God.
I'm telling you.
Like imagine the zombie apocalypse, but instead of sprinting zombies, it's a bunch of power walkers with that intense
I can handle that.
Absolutely terrifying.
So instead of them doing this whole time, they're like,
they're like this.
Yeah.
They never break eye contact. Where you go, the eyes go.
No, man. So is that some of your favorite ones?
No.
Everybody we watch it because of the entertainment. No, my favorite one is I always enjoy watching soccer and powerlifting. There's this black woman from I think Ecuador, and she won a gold. Man, I was like, look, black excellence is everywhere around the world. So I always was here for it. And she was, and I was like, I love it.
Was that Shawty that got disqualified for celebrating too early? I know somebody got disqualified for celebrating too early.
I didn't see that part.
Oops.
Hey man, whatever. That's the Olympics. But personally, I like the excitement of the 1 and 200 meter races, sprints, because they're always electric. Always. You never know what's gonna happen. Because somebody might have a bad day. Somebody, might pull somebody might false start, all that good stuff.
The false starts be blowing me because they get that the one false start and then they're out, and I'm like, that's it?
Yep. And you did all that.
It's high
just a false start.
Yeah, don't play that mess, man.
You can't.
No. I don't know. I agree though that those races are pretty electric, but I mean, I don't know. I'm more of a meathead. I enjoy any of the martial art based events, like wrestling too, and like I love watching those. Fencing, even I include that.
I can never understand fencing because I'm just like, are you trying to poke them or slash them? But then why are you standing like this? Just like I don't know what this is, but you're just.
Yes,
I fenced for a few years. I still can't tell you why the poses. What I've learned is the pose doesn't matter. It's kind of just whatever you feel comfortable with. But I mean, there are three blade types. Usually in the Olympics, you'll see the poking kind. So
yes.
I mean, they're pretty interesting.
I feel like I need to sip tea whenever I watch those. Like, this is quite marvelous.
Indubitably.
Good show.
Indubitably.
I mean, the matches I saw, the most exciting one was definitely the American women's foil. I think she was like the first gold medalist for the U.S. in that sport, and I was like, good on you. You poked them harder.
I mean,
yeah, absolutely fantastic.
So a fellow martial arts fan, but when it comes to the Olympics, man, it's nothing like watching some freestyle swimming.
Oh yeah, that's hard. Okay, man. Freestyle swimming be hard.
Arguably one of the harder Olympic sports, and just one of the hardest sports in general, because it's just about, it's not even just strength, it's the endurance, and it's just the full body motion of literally moving your entire self across the water, down and back for however long. And yeah, I always give it a tone. Like, people always say they want, like, your favorite body type, like the track body. I'm like, man, give me a swimmer's body. Like, you just,
bro, they be working out.
They
swimming gets you right.
And from like 14-year-old kids who are competing and they're like ripped already, and I'm like, how?
And swimming gets you right.
Muscle, like they're lean muscle.
That swimming gets you right, fool.
Oh, that's a hard sport for real.
Another sport that I mean, they brought it back to the Olympics this year, and that was well, actually no, they brought two sports back to the Olympics this year, and that was baseball and softball. So of course I had to keep up with those, even though the games were at like 6 a.m. and shit. I mean, just because it was across, on the other side of the world, you know what I mean? So
that's the only thing that was hard. Since we're in the U.S. and the games was in Japan, I'm like, I'm not gonna wake up at 3 a.m. to watch a game. I'll watch the highlights later.
Absolutely out of your mind. I'm definitely gonna watch the highlights and look at the scores.
Exactly. Also, on a martial arts note, Muay Thai is officially an Olympic sport as of July 2021. It was a little too late to be in the Tokyo Olympics, but it probably will be in the next Olympics.
Hey, good. That'd be exciting.
It's gonna be interesting to see that in the Olympics, because even boxing is kind of like scaled down a little bit. So I wonder. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's still probably going to be very exciting. I can't wait.
I learned that this year that boxing is only 3 rounds. I mean, it makes sense because it's more
amateur. It's more amateur.
Yeah.
It's not like pro stuff. But also, like, remember, it's the Olympic Games. It's not the Olympic kill each other for 10 rounds.
Right, but still, people are getting knocked down within 3 rounds. So
yeah, make it happen. It's just it's more of like to showcase. It really presents the opportunity to showcase skill rather than just like raw power and bloodthirst or whatever.
What do you mean?
Technique.
That's all I want to see.
Well, then
somebody get knocked out? Are you kidding me?
Stick to your swimming.
I want heads knocked loose.
Skill? I want to see somebody's eye get blooded.
No. What? No.
This is Mortal Kombat.
What's some sports that you guys saw that you're like, why is this even a sport?
Man, there's 3-on-3 basketball. That's street ball. You can play that down the street. Like,
get me out there.
Yo, anybody can pick up, like, that's literally pick up 3-on-3. Like, what is this? And they actually had rules and a shot clock. And like, nah, bro, we're playing 21. Like, and you want a gold medal? I know 3 in the local basketball court. I'll be like, hey, yo, y'all trying to hoop in Japan? Go.
Hey, yo, I got next. we got 2K my part, boy.
You should have had some benches and be like, hey, yo, I got next. Hey, yo, you got some 3? I got my 3. All right, let's go.
Yo, like these big name athletes are going out here picking pickup ball.
It really just blows me that like they actually like that makes no sense because basketball is already an Olympic sport. So that's just basically the bench and the trash players who weren't good enough to make the Olympic team, but they can play through.
I mean, they might not be good enough. They might not be good enough to make the Olympic team, but they can still hoop.
He tried to say that's the
What is
league.
the criteria? That's all I want to know. What is the criteria to say you're not good enough to play regular basketball, but you can play? Like, what does that say about you? That you're only good enough to play 3-on-3? Like,
I think about this though, bro. The Olympic team, right? The USA owns the Olympics in basketball. Let's be real. Them boys, you got the best players in the world like every time they go out there.
Europe's gotten better. I mean,
yeah.
You got
but
players.
Still, who won the Olympic gold this year?
MVP is from Greece.
Who won the Olympic gold this year?
I mean, that's besides the point.
Who won the Olympic gold last? Who won the
Is
Olympic
it besides
gold
the point?
last 5? No, I'm not gonna say the 5. I'm gonna say the last 3 Olympic golds.
You realize how much under pressure they were on? They lost the first like 3 games in like the preseason of the Olympics. I mean, good job you won gold. Like, yeah, hats off to the U.S. for winning gold in basketball, but like, yo, it was looking kind of grim for them because they were losing to Nigeria, Germany. Where's Doncic from? Slovenia.
Australia.
Right, Australia is always good. They're always making a run. Spain's always good. Like, yo, like Europe is on the come up. So, and the fact that they even got like out here hooping, like, yo, pretty soon, like they're gonna get got one day, and everybody's gonna be like, ugh.
Give me Dame Dollar.
Everyone is the same. I mean, but about like losing those preseason stuff, I'm gonna say the same thing that I used to say at all of our football games when we were in high school. Minor setback for major comeback.
We're still stuck now.
Yeah, only difference was it really wasn't a major comeback after that major setback.
There are no major comebacks. We're just getting our asses kicked.
It was a major setback for inevitable defeat.
Another setback. Like
every disappointing years. You know what I mean? It's okay. It's okay. I
don't know.
I'm good. Are you good? You guys good? One
sport I've never really understood why is in the Olympics is golf.
Yes.
That's an intelligent man's game. It's the same as like chess.
It is. It's like, very smart. It's a smart game. I mean, you can make the argument that boxing is chess too, but I mean, whatever.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the only reason why it's more glorified is because combat sports was, that's early, like the first Olympic Games in Athens in those times was they were actually beheading people. Like in Rome, like that was an actual glorified thing to see somebody get killed. Well, so that's why that's always going to be. But for golf, nobody's getting killed. Nobody's getting breaking a sweat. What qualifies
like an Olympic golf athlete? Like I know golf as like business meetings and conversations, but what qualifies an Olympic golf athlete?
And how do you do teams?
Probably the same way that like you can win gold for being a marksman. Like that's a competition, and
but that's teams. It's still a team thing. You still it's as a team. So how do you do golf as a team?
My thing about golf is that I've always felt like it was, in a weird way, the anti-sport because it does not follow the same conventions of any other sport. The audience is quiet for one. Like there's no hype up. There's no like, hey, go get that. Yeah, sink that. There's none of that. There's like it's professional decorum, professional like semi-professional dress. Everything about it is just very professional, like one of y'all said.
He lines up for the shot. This is about 200 yards.
Like even with the archery and marksman position like stuff, it's like it's a quick display of skill. You move on to the next thing. You clap. You get hyped up. But with golf, it's like it's an ongoing event, and it's just kind of like I don't know. For me, it's like there's so many different stuff that I would want to see so much stuff I don't want to see in the Olympics.
I have never seen anybody hit a hole in one or a birdie and they jump up with somebody like, yeah!
I mean, you got Tiger Woods.
I never seen a golf player get hyped. Like,
but what you're saying is the nature of golf and the audience's reaction, Lucas, is that it doesn't really fit the vibe of the Olympics. Is that what you're trying to say?
That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Man, we need Happy Gilmore out there, bro. That's what we need.
I'm assuming let somebody really like tee off like
go back to your shanties.
I will point out handball. I don't know what handball. I saw that like one time when I was at work, and it's like they have a whole like soccer goal, but they use their hands, and I'm like, what's the point of this sport?
It's to do what every soccer player dreams of. use their hands.
Just chucking it.
You're
think I've
getting
ever
tired
seen
of kicking
handball.
with
Is
your
that-
feet. You're like,
Is
you
that the
know
one
what?
where you got like the
I'm
goal
sick
in
of
the
it.
middle or something?
Nah, like they have it like goal posts.
Oh,
Like, can you
It almost
imagine?
looked like a lacrosse type setup, but with a handball.
Like, okay, for 1 second, just imagine the frustration soccer players go through. For 90 minutes plus, they are running around, completely avoiding their arms naturally, as humans would usually do, and just avoiding the urge to just pick up the ball and just sprint down the field. Can you imagine how frustrating that must be? I've played pickup soccer, and I'm frustrated after like 5 minutes. I'm just like, dude, yeah.
Especially every time when you get close, when you hit the crossbar or something like that. So to imagine at that rate, if you can't score playing handball, like you got to be somewhat accurate, but it's like, yo, just find a hole and just throw it.
you gonna piss somebody off with that.
If you imagine you miss the whole goalpost playing handball. No, you get it. If I'm the coach, get on the bench. No, because
what you trying to get into?
Max, I understand what you're trying to say. Someone's bound to be pissed off, and someone's bound to be pissed off about the golf comment I made too. But the problem with the golf comment is I probably won't hear them over the silent golf claps. But whatever.
Oh, no, every time I think of golf, I think of
Take
golf.
that, take that, Tiger Woods.
I think of Wii golf, right? You know how like you're playing Wii golf and you like get close to the hole or whatever, and they're like, "Oh,
I like the memes are going like this.
Or when you swing too hard, you hit an arrow.
Like
probably
the
one
force
thing, like,
meter.
you can easily do sound bites on golf, like, oh.
I remember
a game called
I was playing Wii golf with my dad when I was a kid, and there was a hole where it was like the way it was designed was it was supposed to go like around, like it's like this big arch, and you're supposed to kind of hit it was like I think it was like a par 4 or something. You're supposed to hit it multiple times, ideally. I did that. I hit it once, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna hit like 2 more times. You go ahead, Dad. He looks at it, and he was like, so you have the curve, and you have this huge body of water. This is what this man does. He tilts the player to go straight past the water. And I was like, there's no way you're going to make that shot. He was like, oh, yeah. Right over the water. Puts it into fair. I was like, bro, you cheat.
I always feel bad for like whenever you get in the water. But then like what's always weird is that somehow there's always an animal in the water that gets hit. And that's always the funniest thing that they catch on camera. But it's only scary if there's like when they do it in Florida because they're actual gators in the pond.
Them boy got gator down there, both.
He said, who did that?
Go
Right. And he comes out and I'm like, you know what? At that point, it's my time to leave.
You're gonna be a snack after that.
He's over here. He's over here like, who did that? Show yourself. Who did that? I'm coming for you.
But man, going back to like some of the rules and some of the sports that are allowed, like some things that I was watching like didn't make sense. Like there's one where I wasn't sure if it was kickboxing or karate, but they had gloves on their hands and they had padding on their foot and on their shins. And so they were always kicking each other. They barely threw punches. And
do they have like a chest gear on?
Yes, they have
that's
chest.
Taekwondo. So
it's Taekwondo?
Karate, yeah, they got karate, kumite with combat, and Taekwondo. Taekwondo has like the full padding and mostly kicks.
Well, in the finals, let me pull it back on my phone. In the finals for the gold medal for men's, there was a man from, I believe he was from Saudi Arabia. And the other guy, I can't remember where he was from. I think he was from like Iran or something. But, he was just, kicking, throwing feet, throwing fists. And then he did like, I think a spinning back kick. And it knocked out the dude. And I was like, oh, he won gold. And then they disqualified him and gave the other dude gold. And I was like, he just knocked him out. Why are you calling that a disqualification?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Actually, that was the karate because that was there was no it was like gloves and foot gear, but no chest pad, no headgear.
Yeah, there's no headgear.
That was karate. That's like a more open style of point fighting. Yeah. So the reason behind that was, and I'm going to reference what I said earlier, is the Olympic Games, not the Olympic Death Match or Mortal Kombat, like somebody wanted to reference. No, it's like the idea behind that style of fighting is to display skill, technique, accuracy, and speed. You're not trying to knock someone out. And the kick, I remember it was the reason he got disqualified because they ruled it as more of an intentional kick, I believe. Because if it was like a, accidental kind of like if he was ducking into it, a body kick, and he got hit in the head, I don't think they would disqualify him right away. But like that was a side kick right to his chin. He went down like a rock.
Yeah, because like after watching the video, like because he was like shifting over and he was getting ready to like, lean in and like go for another kick, and the dude's foot just reacted and he just went straight up and like dude's head literally just cocked back and he went to sleep. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, like I mean, it was a great kick. It was a great placement. Everything about it was honestly fantastic. It just wasn't followed in the rules, which is weird, I'm sure, for you because it's very different than what we see outside of the Olympics. Karate combat sports, UFC, Bellator, and I mean, without kicks, boxing as well.
Right.
So it's
because I mean, in each sport, like there's kind of like a different like I still can never like even with like some combat sports they take up for points and stuff. But like even for when I watch judo, I know judo is a more grapple type of combat sport, but I never understood like what is considered a point if you're not slamming them to the ground. And I'm like, well, what is the actual objective? Are you supposed to slam them down and submit them? Are you trying to put them into an arm bar? Like, what are you trying to do?
You're trying to use their weight and their momentum against them. And depending on how clean your sweep is, depends on like your amount of points.
Yeah, like you won't just like you can't muscle your way through a judo match. There's a certain way of throwing them, a certain way of controlling the descent that gets you, as Jeff said, gets you those points. Because I mean, if that was it, then we just watch wrestling to watch people just slamming people indiscriminately.
Yeah, but even with those, some of those are still like count and like analyze in a way.
Well,
like just
wrestling has a whole different rule set. Judo, like you think about the principle of judo is using their weight and their power against them. It's using full momentum to your advantage. That's why a lot of the throws, like the over the shoulder, the most common one, is not just like picking them up and throwing them. It's like you're shifting your body weight under theirs, lifting them off their feet, and just using all that leverage in motion. That's why
that one's called the Uchimata. Yeah. So what you do, you grab the person's arm and you put your back towards their front. And then you drop down and use your butt to lift them up.
Yes. When you say it like that, it sounds a little dirty, but whatever.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say
under their center of gravity.
You're arching your back too. You like it?
I feel like that pause of silence. All of us like. It's like butt lifts.
I know this is a move to put me on my back, but
I understand the point, but pause.
And I mean, you want to talk about weird rulings. Another thing I saw weird enough was in one of the wrestling matches I caught. It was I might be a little bit wrong. I think it was Iran or Turkey versus Japan. I know it was Japan, but it was a big match. And at first it was pretty even, but the guy from not Japan, we'll just say that right now, was ahead in the points a little bit. But there was a point in which the Japanese wrestler got a takedown on him, but it was controversial. So the opposing coach, called a challenge on it. And see, that was when I learned the dangerous thing about challenges is if you're wrong, you not only get it outruled, you also lose a bunch of points as punishment for like interrupting.
Yeah, but it's really like, you don't overplay yourself. Like,
it really discourages you from like just making open calls. And I guess like part of that is to like discourage people from like changing or ruining momentum. So you have to really pick your calls. And honestly, I don't know. I watched the instant replay. It could have gone either way. But they felt like it was still worthy of the points. So then the guy spent the rest of the match playing catch up. And actually, because the Japanese wrestler was in ahead, in points. It's like 4-1 at that point. He kept avoiding the guy, trying to like not get taken down. And because of that, the referee was like, you've been wrestling directly this entire time. I know what you're trying to do. And he started giving points to the other guy because of penalties. So it was kind of like, because of the amount of points he got back from the end of that match, I'm like, if you just didn't say anything, you probably could have won. But it was just very weird to think about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Another one that I didn't know was karate is not actually combat. It's more of a showcase.
Yes.
So none of them actually spar or win against each other.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But let's talk about some other highlights, though, because there was a lot of interesting stuff that happened in the Olympics. One of them being the first gold medal split in like what? Almost 100 years?
Right.
Which event was that?
Hold on. Let's
It was the I think it was the pole vault.
Let me
or the high jump. Either the high jump or the pole vault. Max will look it up, but yeah, it was these two. They went up against each other, and they were at a tie. They both had the exact same height that they jumped, and they had a chance to go for a tiebreaker. And it was like, okay, so what do you want to do? And they looked at each other like, can we both have a gold medal? Like,
right.
Yeah, of course, go ahead. So it was interesting because, like, you know, then you found out that they're actually good friends, not teammates, but they were good friends, rivals, and like they worked together, they trained together on multiple occasions. So it was like this very awesome moment that both of them got to win. Like two good friends didn't have to pit themselves against each other, like, because that's always awkward, right?
So yeah, it was the high jump, and it was between Qatar and Italy. Mutaz Essa Barshim from Qatar and Gianmarco Tambiri from Italy. I just probably butchered the crap out of those names, but
maybe.
Yeah, they decided to split the honor after each failing to make it over the bar during the jump off.
We'll send them a gift basket to apologize.
Yeah. And yeah, they decided to split. So I mean, that was something that hold on, I think the last time
it only worked for certain events.
Last time it was 1912. Last time it happened.
So it was almost 100 years.
Certain events can only call for that though. You could probably do the same thing for what's this one? Shot put.
Yeah.
And then javelin, if you throw the exact same distance.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you could also do it with pole vaulting and stuff too.
Yeah, there are a lot of events that you can.
Because a lot of those, they're based off of attempts. So you tell them, I would like to attempt this. Okay. There's your attempt. You complete it. There's your attempt. You complete it. Okay. Y'all have gotten the exact same height. Y'all want to go for a tiebreaker? Cool. Or if not, I mean, think
about it. It's just the chances of it happening. That's what makes it so amazing. And the fact that they also knew each other. So it was kind of like friendly rivalry. You know what I mean? Like, it's something that you love to see in sports.
I think it was a very important moment in the Olympics overall. Like, I think it was in a time of like a lot of turmoil and a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. Like, I think it was good for people to see that despite going up against each other and having their differences, people can still like do something like that, as grand as that. And think about it also, you know, it may not seem like a huge deal to split a gold medal, regardless of how likely it is to happen, but it hasn't happened in almost 100 years.
Over 100 years.
Over 100 years, yeah. So like, right, over 100 years. My math is
terrible. But I will be remiss if we did not do this, especially, you know, supporting the women. I've never seen so many diverse people representing these historically white-dominated areas. Like, there's been representation to show that, like, you know, we are everywhere around Europe. So, like, people that are representing, you know, Lithuania, Estonia, Norway, Italy, like, these aren't white people that are just coming out anymore. Like, these are, I'm like, yo, it was special. It was special to see.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
You know, I think like also like Olympic athletes have like a different example to set than like regular professional athletes in a way. Like they have a lot of similarities, but like, you know, in the NBA, most of the time you're going to get mostly people in the US watching and following those examples. In the FIFA, the international soccer, you're going to get much more of a like broader spectrum. But in the Olympics, everyone's watching, all like around the world, if they have access to it, they can watch it. So it's like, you know, that's a chance for everyone. It's kind of like a chance for everyone to come together and like, you know, shake hands, make peace, and just have a good time.
I mean, if you think about it, the Olympics are like, you know, there's somebody's family member up there, so you're gonna have like the cities supporting those people. Like it doesn't matter like where you're from, who you are, you're just there to support. Like, oh yeah, they're from around my area, they're from my state, even. Like, oh yeah, the fact that they're from my state makes me want to watch them. It's pretty.
But not just that, it's watching the best of the best internationally do these different sports. Just shows you the peak of human capability. The fact that humans can perform such feats really shows our potential.
Yeah. Even and especially like overcoming adversity. Like I've seen, there was one that was highlighted where it was a athlete for the hurdles. She messed up at the last Olympics, and when she competed, she hit it. She couldn't land a single jump. Her rhythm was off. Everything was off. She lost. She comes back to this event, whole new fire about her, whole new game going, and she just blitzes it. She dominates the game, and you can tell in the amount of time that she took between these two events, she trained her ass off, and she put in her soul. And it's like, you know, it's nice to see that, like, that change. It's like, wow, I'm inspired.
I mean, and also like certain things, like to Max's point, like how U.S. basketball is like, you know, it's USA basketball. But I'm like, man, you cannot pay me to try to race a woman from Jamaica. I will automatically just say no. I'm just going to say no. Even if she's slower, even if she's not a track star at all, I'm going to lose because, man.
This man.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, Shelly Ann Fraser-Price.
Boy.
That woman king. Move,
hey, just be glad that they're asking you to race against them instead of run away from them for something.
They're like, bro,
imagine you try to like steal their purse or something. You try to like rob them on the street, and you're like, I'm running away, and she's just running beside you. Like, are you gonna stop now,
bro? And it's like,
I left my running shoes at home.
Could you stop? They know that they're the best too. It's crazy. They know that they're the best. They're like, oh yeah, I don't care about anybody else. I just know it's Jamaica 1, 2, 3. That's it.
Yep.
Literally, like, what was that? What was that? Was that the 4x1 or
no? That was the 100, bro. Because they went first, second, third.
Yes, 100. Literally, they took top 3 spots.
They took all the medals, bro.
They literally took. All you saw was 3 Jamaicans on the podium. Like, that's wild. And I'm like, you know what? Flag. The rest of y'all just don't try. Just fight for 4th. Fight for 4th.
Have your own little mini race.
At this rate, we're starting from 4th all the way down to 8th. Like that's the actual gold medal. But you already know top 3 is going to go to them.
Yeah. See, what they don't tell the viewers is that it's actually 2 separate events in one. It's the Jamaican race.
Right.
The other race.
It's the Jamaican showcase and then the rest.
So in reality, everyone else is like having their own little foot race to try and get their medal. And Jamaicans are like, I'm gonna beat you. No, I'm gonna beat you.
Yeah.
This is literally
they're challenging each other.
This is literally a remake of The Other Guys. It's Jamaica and then them.
Hey guys. What about them?
Who?
Oh no. Who? And they'll highlight every person. They'll highlight, at the first aisle, we have this person from the Netherlands. She's, the 2-time European champion and she's all happy. And I'm like, yeah, that's cute, but we already know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, you know who's gonna win.
Exactly.
Like literally Usain Bolt is there like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My people.
I remember he smiled one time in the mid, like toward the end of the race. He looked at the guy, the U.S. runner, and he smiled a little bit as he was maintaining that super fast jog.
I swear that man's evil.
Super fast jog.
That is evil. That is evil because you'll see them getting ready to run, and it's like, all right, it's the moment of truth, and then you'll see them burst like out of the gates, and everybody's like, other people are in front. Oh my gosh, is he gonna do it? And then he kind of just chuckles like, all right, I'll run for real now. Runs right past everybody, and I'm like, really? You just don't? You could have waited a half a second and still probably have won.
See, nah, because like thinking about it, it's like I'm not too well versed in track, so I'm just say this. The thing about Usain Bolt, right? The man is so tall, so it's gonna take him a little bit longer to get going. But when he does get going, he catches that stride within those first like 60 to 100 meters. 60 to 100. What am I talking about? 40 meters, right? When he hits that stride at 40 meters, it's over with. Because when he gets that stride, there's separation.
He's covering more ground. Yeah.
Yeah, separation gonna happen.
Gone. But like he also like he is so well versed in his art, let's call it that, in his art, that he knows the field, he knows his body, like he knows exactly how much time he needs to do that. Like that level of athlete, like that level of athletic ability is just like you just know yourself and your surroundings so well that you really don't need to worry so much about everything else. You just need to worry about yourself.
Yeah.
Like you build your rapport, you build yourself to know that you are the force to be reckoned with. Like Allison Felix, she is a force. She has been doing this for so long.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The real GOAT. She has the most Olympic medals out of anybody.
And she popped out a baby and will still be
still runs.
Like
and still makes it to the Olympics.
That
still gets a medal.
Your God-given ability to be able to, face physical alterations of your body, bearing a child, recovering from that, training. Because from her interview, she said like that's. Like it's one of the hardest things to come back from. Like I would probably argue that might be harder than recovering from like an ACL injury, because you know what that's like. You tear your ACL, you have your surgery, you go through your rehab, bada bing, bada boom. She had a baby.
She had a baby, taking care of the baby.
Right. Her body had to literally go through all of these different chemical changes and then still have to be able to train herself to be able to be in that peak athlete condition to beat a 19-year-old. Like,
she's not young.
Right. Like she is a
going up against like 20-year-olds,
out here winning.
21-year-olds. She's mid-30s, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That is all sheer grit, determination, and will. And I'm glad that she's left her legacy the way that it is, because it's gonna be a long time before we see anybody, match her type of intensity.
She's absolutely fantastic.
You know what? It's hilarious that we're talking about all these stellar athletes and like the feats they're performing and everything they're capable of. But I would like to discuss the other side of this coin. I want to discuss what these athletes go through to produce this excellence that they give us. Because this Olympic and these Olympics in particular, we really had a showcase of adversity, overcoming adversity, and like getting your community behind people to support their own troubles. And some of y'all might know, spoiler alert, I'm talking about Simone Biles.
Bro.
Simone Biles, for those of you that for whatever reason just don't watch Olympics or anything about excellence, Simone Biles is probably one of, if not the best, gymnasts that have graced this earth.
The GOAT literally embroidered on her uniform.
Like, she had the GOAT on her, and honestly, she has earned it in many ways. Not even just because of like her body, like the argument of like her body giving her an advantage. No, she is just graceful. She sticks her landings. She can perform feats feats that no other gymnast can really think about doing, and she does it with a really nice smile on her face. She's always like this. I was like,
oh yeah, she's one of those people that like she she'll get disqualified. Some of her moves get disqualified because other people can't do it.
You read that same thing? I was like, yo, they're
Like,
actually penalizing her
and
for doing
it doesn't make
moves
sense.
that only she knows how to do.
You work so hard to do things that other people can't do so you can win,
I mean,
but you're being kept from winning.
I mean, that's exactly like telling Mike Tyson that he can't win the championship belt because he's smaller than the rest of the heavyweights and he's allowed to do his very specific style and other boxers can't do that. So he just can't win.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. He's
stupid.
using his he didn't ask to be born, or she didn't ask to be born with it either. Like they work with what they have.
They were just like that.
Beautifully.
But that's how you be the best, is to do things that other people don't do.
Exactly.
They're literally.
Isn't that the point
different.
of the Olympics? Like, to be the best? Like, you're supposed to compete and perform your best skill, your best move that you know is going to put you over the top. And you're stopping somebody from doing it because nobody else can do it.
Because, like, how can you say no to a face like that?
You got to give everybody a chance.
Give everybody a chance to win? No.
Participation medals, dude.
If I was on the Olympic committee and I was telling Simone Biles she couldn't do something, I'd be like, Simone, I'm afraid we have to tell you can't do this. And she'd give me that smile and be like, oh, I can't stay mad at you. Go ahead and do your stunts. Go ahead. Get out there, you little scamp. Like,
but on a serious note, she was suffering from the twisties.
What was interesting, that was interesting though, because at first, her first thing that she revealed was that she was undergoing she was looking after her mental health. So she dropped out. And there was quite the discussion about it. There are people that were in full support because, mental health is the big thing. We're all about supporting mental health. And, there was a few people that are like, nah, man, you're the GOAT. You're the athlete. Get past all that. Shrug it off. Walk it off.
The demand for what athletes go through, because I'm just going to step away from the Olympics really quickly. Even in the NFL, there are certain football players that were talking about like their mental health as like a priority thing, because they were, if you think about what it means to be a professional athlete, you're paid millions upon millions of dollars, getting so much money in sponsorships, and the face is plastered on everything, and you're expected to showcase yourself every single day and night, with no but ifs or can I take a break. And it's a lot. It's already a lot physically, but just the mental demand, because I'm pretty sure, like, if I was an athlete, like, I would say, don't let the fans get to you or let the people get to you, but eventually it'll take its toll, especially if you do it for such a long period of time. So I can definitely see how the mental toll will start to really take into effect, especially for a gymnast, because she's doing these dangerous flips. And if you mess up once, you could kill yourself.
Exactly. And then even on that note, later on, she revealed, that she was going through the twisties, which I don't know about y'all. I didn't know that was a thing at first. I looked it up and I was like, wow, that's very serious. And to all our listeners out there that may not have heard, the twisties is a condition that a lot of gymnasts go through, in which they literally lose their ability to perceive their surroundings. Is
midair.
If they're in midair, so they're spinning or flipping or whatever, they lose that sense of, I guess, reality. So they're no longer able to properly map or gauge where they're gonna land or what they're doing. So they might just bust themselves up without being able to help it. And a lot of people then looked at that, they're like, oh yeah, no, that's serious. After to help them. But honestly, regardless of why she said, regardless of why she didn't talk about the twisties first, which honestly I think it was a smart play going with the mental health argument. It's just very difficult to perceive that kind of pressure that people go through. To make a point, Alex and Max, y'all were high school athletes, played baseball, and then Alex, you played football. What kind of pressure did y'all feel in those games on that level? did y'all ever feel like at any point just kind of like nervous, like you had like to rise to the occasion?
I mean, in high school, not really. But
Yeah.
I mean, high school was just like, oh, I'm out here, I'm having fun, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you have that 1-2 to win, and of course, if you don't win, it's just like, damn, I didn't win. Like,
Exactly.
you're really upset. But
Mhm.
I mean, I know for me, you know, playing in college, that was a whole nother realm, right? Because that's when you start to see that it's really a business. You know what I mean? And the coach, your coaches, I mean, that's their livelihood. So if you're not performing, you're definitely going to feel it, and you're definitely going to know that you're not performing because you're not going to be playing. And I know for me that it was hard, you know, coming from, you know, being an everyday player, you know, in high school to, you know, playing well off and on in college, and I'm here racking my brain trying to figure out how I can, you know, get, you know, myself to be an everyday player again. It was honestly, it was really tough. On top of that, you have school, and you still have like other extracurricular things that going on when you're in undergrad. So it's just a lot going on in your head constantly, and it's that it all affects your performance. You know what I mean? So I know for me, whenever you know, it got to like the end of the semester, and we're nearing tournament time. We're nearing like yeah, like a conference tournament, national tournament, all that good stuff. I know I started to play better because I know like my work was being lighter because, you know, we're about to hit finals, about to finish up, good all that good stuff. All the extracurriculars are about finished. I could, you know, clear my head and actually play. But I mean, I know a lot of people, you know, find that clarity on the field. But I know for me, I couldn't really do that because I had so much going on in my life in general. It really affected me. Like, a lot of people didn't know this, but like I I was really hurting during season, and it kind of led me to stop playing. And as much as I didn't want to,
Yeah.
I knew I had to.
And that was
Yeah.
at the level that you were at, let alone
Yeah.
like the level these athletes go. Like, they have constant attention even when they're not in season. Everyone
Yeah.
has eyes on them. Everyone has high expectations. Everyone's looking up to them. So it's a lot.
The
Yeah,
life of an athlete is a lot busier than what people make it out to be. Because I mean, for like an everyday like person, like different students, like for high school, different students going through different academic curriculars. Like us being IB students, we were already busy as hell because we had so much work, so many papers, and on top of that, being a multi-sport athlete, I'm already tired. So like my whole schedule was practice, home, eat, homework, and get the homework done, regardless if I'm up, you know, past midnight, because I know I got to get up to, you know, because school starts at 7:30. Like that, it took a lot on me because during the off season, I definitely got my rest. Like I didn't didn't work out as much, and I just took the time to like take those breaks. So I know that for like professional athletes and college athletes, the off season is crucial because you're doing your recovery work. You're getting yourself ready to actually like, you know, play and, you know, taking care of your injuries and things of that nature. So all of that, you know, is encompassed of like, you know, getting yourself ready. But once the season hits, and for certain sports like gymnastics, right, for Simone, it doesn't really end. There's no real off season because like for those athletes, you can't really take a break because if you do and you try to do that same routine, you might like really hurt yourself. So for her demand, I see, I definitely understand like why she was experiencing what she was experiencing. And yeah, no, it's definitely a tough feat. So
I mean,
Jeffrey,
dude.
how would you
Sorry.
weigh in on this, Jeff? Because I mean, I know like Max and Alex have like the athlete exposure. I don't have enough of that to like really relate to it as much as they do. But like, how would you weigh in on the whole situation? with your personal experience? What you think?
I mean, I wasn't an athlete like in high school, but more in college. I guess I was a whatever the term would be for Muay Thai practitioner for about 3 years.
You were a fighter.
Yeah, so yeah, I was a fighter for 3 years.
You were a scrapper.
Yeah, and
he threw hands every once in a while, you know,
and elbows and
a
knees.
few knees, yeah,
elbows, you know,
legs,
couple, you know,
stuff like that. Yeah. And you do get a sense of that you want to get better, and I guess the difference with combat sports versus like baseball or basketball team sports is that combat sports is more individual, so you're not really dependent on other people, and you really just have yourself. You got people like encouraging you to go more, but there's no one really pushing you except yourself. You don't get better unless you push yourself.
Yeah,
you know what
you
I'm
have
saying?
to like, and I get that because for me, when I was out there on tournaments, I had to find my own motivations because, like you said, no one's out there motivating you. Like you got your coaches, you got your friends going like, "Yeah, go you," but like for me, it was like I wanted to make sure that I put everything I had out there and everything that I was taught into practice. So if I lose, it's not because I didn't do something or I just missed out on something. It's because I did everything I could and I still was just outplayed. Because I didn't want to discredit or disappoint my instructors. I didn't want to like discredit our learning environment. Like that was the pressure I had. And also like for me specifically, I was like one of the older members of the club. So it was like me and a few other people, when we went to tournaments, people expected a lot from us. Like, all right, it's like, all right, we're going to get, like, these guys are definitely going to get us medals. We're just like, I hope so. So we were
pressure's
just like,
real. The pressure is real. The pressure is real. Like, and it wasn't even just her. Like, it wasn't even just her. It was also like Naomi Osaka and Shikari Richardson, both for different reasons. But like for Naomi, she openly was talking about mental health being a thing, and then she played in Tokyo. And then she played in the U.S. Open, and she lost. And after that, like seeing her emotionally process how she was feeling, I'm really like saying to myself, like, yo, this is no joke. Like she's really out here, braving it through a press conference because she's really going through it right now. And like people really need to understand that like the mental toll of an athlete is huge. And, like that's how a lot of like athletes will, potentially may retire early because they can't take it anymore. Like regardless of whatever peak condition they're in, that the success that they have, your mental will always catch up and it will always hinder you. So
I mean, the biggest pressure professional athletes face isn't what they do in success, is what they do when they defeat.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not just losing. It's all the whiplash that comes after you lose. The media, your fans, the sponsor, everything. It's like it's like you have the whole world on your shoulders. Like, and I think what's big key thing about all these athletes is how the media portrayed them and how like they got kind of hit by that. And we were talking about other athletes, another big one in the Olympics, Sha'Carri Richardson. Yeah. Whole story development. We go from this perfect example of Black excellence and I am woman, just dusting the competition in full nails and hair done, everything, and everyone's like, "Oh crap, we're ready."
And then, we need her. We need her out there.
Her whole journey is literally like a full-length reality show of like different stories and different stuff unfolding, because then she went from everybody loves her to she messed up.
Bad.
Don't do drugs. She smoked weed. Calm down. Her mother died. You have everybody copes with death differently. So yeah, she had a moment where she needed to relieve like some stress and her hardship. So she smoked weed.
Yeah.
In a state where it's legal.
Right. Like,
And
because the Olympic
she didn't
Commission
shoot up steroids and says, "I need to be faster." Like no, she just.
But did people have a problem with the weed, or were they saying like she was kind of boasting that she's gonna beat certain people? Because that's what I was hearing.
I think people
That's
used
why they were
that.
mad at
I think people used that as part of their argument, but in reality, mostly was just because of the fact that she smoked weed.
and got disqualified.
Yeah. And then unfortunately it kind of just trickled down, because then when, as we were highlighting and praising, the Jamaican women for, dusting the competition, and then everybody was like, pointing at Shikari, like, Shikari, what's up? You see how they running, what you about? And then, afterwards, and then the Diamond League race afterwards, and she placed last, and then another race she placed fourth, and I'm like, yo.
And then people were real quick to like criticize her big talk. I'm just like,
people were like, what's all that shit you was talking? Like, dude.
I mean, she kind of threw herself under a bus when she kind of threw shade at Allison Felix as well.
Yeah. That's what they're upset about.
That I saw, and I was like, that wasn't smart on your
nothing but
move.
good things about, like, Allison said nothing but good things about her.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
Yeah, I get this, like the heat of competition, all that good stuff, but still, I mean, it's Allison Felix, so you should work with her.
I didn't think too much about it. Like, I thought, it's the Olympic Games. Just make sure you show some class. I also thought, just it is a competition. It's okay to generate a little bit of hype. Like, plenty of athletes do it all the time, and like plenty of people who do it in a very negative way in the professional circuit do it. Look at Conor McGregor. He's literally a cash cow for talking shit.
He got his ass kicked.
Let's say that's all he does. But now
his ankle broke. His ankle shattered.
Let's say certain sports call for that though. You call for that machismo, big shit talker stuff in combat sports. So everybody loves to say, "I'm gonna knock your head off," because everybody loves the press conference. And then you see what happens when the fight actually comes.
He's gotten his ass
kicked. I mean, you don't need to have that, like,
in a row,
arrogant type of personality when it comes to combat sports. I mean, look at Wonder Boy on UFC. He's one of the nicest people, and he is very respectful and shows great sportsmanship, but still whoops people's ass. So in the event of sports, you don't need to have that "you're my opponent" type feels. Like, let's do our best, you know what I'm saying, and let's go at it. Whoever is the best wins. Because when you have that success mentality, like we were talking about before, you get really hard on yourself for defeat because it's so much focus on success that's the only option, and that's where the mental health comes in.
But honestly, like especially in combat sports, it is such a difficult field to navigate in terms of like your personal success and how successful you are in the thing. Like you mentioned Wonder Boy, yeah, he's really nice, but he's not going to be as famous as McGregor, simply because McGregor is a self-generating cash cow for the UFC. He probably his fights, for one reason or another, generate so much money because everyone either wants to see him win or they want to see him get his ass beat hard. Mm-hmm. Like he's hated and loved intensely. Like he generates the hype. I don't like the way he does it. I don't condone the way he does it. I think. Do you think that's going to be? Do you think that's going to be Shikari's, motto as well? No. Everybody is going to love her, or everybody's going to hate her. I mean, and now every time she races, all eyes are on her for it.
I think the people that hated her are the people that I guess were offended by what she said, or didn't like her arrogance. It was really like a lot of older people or more like foreign people, like Caribbean people, African people. Whereas the people rooting for her were, I guess, the girls that identified with her, like the American Black girls.
Yeah, people that wanted to see something special in the Olympics. They want to see something.
See themselves in the Olympics.
Yeah. One thing also, I did mention it. I touched on it a little earlier, but I wanted us to get the Sha'Carri Richardson because I wanted to say, like, it's funny how these three athletes all have that one thing in common. Like I said, is how the media really can either break you or make you. In all three cases, the media is something stronger than others. Like for Sha'Carri Richardson, it was a very strong attack from the media, but with Simone Biles, it wasn't as strong. And actually, part of that I think was because when and I'm not saying that they did this purposefully. I fully believe that Simone Biles was within her rights for the mental health. But when they made the argument, when they said that she is preserving her mental health, automatically she built herself the best wall on social media and everywhere. Because if the media or someone else tries to like put her down, everyone's like, whoa, no, mental health. Shut.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what happened, because when Sunisa Lee took over to win the gold for the U.S. on the team, the media was kind of like, oh, yeah, she was picking up Simone Biles' slack. It's like, no. It's a team effort.
She's
They're
just
on
as
the US
good.
team.
Obviously.
She won.
She's good. She's a great athlete.
She's obviously a fantastic athlete.
Exactly.
Right.
And it was kind of
she's
like,
just a kid, and she's winning gold. Like
the media was trying to like tear it down, and everyone's like, we're not having that. And it was the perfect. Even after you revealed like the twisties, it was a beautiful strategy. I'm not saying like I said, I'm not saying it was purposefully done. I'm just saying that it worked really well in their favor. And it actually showed a good possibility for the future for mental health awareness. So
I think also the challenge on their end though is the response, because with Simone Biles, Naomi Osaka, and Shikari Richardson, Naomi and Simone are both seen as perfect little angels. Nicest, kindest, always has a smile on her face. Like they always highlight when Naomi was in the middle of a tennis match and she picked up a butterfly, and I was like, oh, it's so pure. She's so pure. And I'm like,
the butterfly landed on her.
You know what?
The butterfly landed on her.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
And so for them and they're admitting their mental health, it's like, it's okay. You are great. It's okay. But then Shikari is the big, I can do bad all by myself, hair, nails, like, blowing, shit talking. And everybody loves that. But also, you have the people who don't like that as well. And her response has also been kind of like biting her in the butt a little bit as well.
I mean, if you think about it, bro, she represents the common man. Like she represents the common black woman.
Yep.
That is not commonly represented in sports. You know what I mean? Because you always get told, shut up and run, or shut up and do what you do, because that's just that's just how it is. Like, I mean, you're not going to get anywhere. Like, just how they told LeBron and all these super famous athletes, shut up and dribble. Like, all that good, like, all that stuff, you know what I mean? And, we get all this, we get told, a lot of our black athletes are told that you got to be the leaders in the community and all that good stuff. But, I mean, really, they weren't signed up for that. I mean, that's not what they signed up for. They signed up to ball out.
They signed up because they found a sport that they love to do, and they continue to do it. So
they have a lot of influence in the community. You know what I mean? That's why. That's really why
they do great feats, and people naturally gravitate towards people to do great feats because they want to keep that themselves. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So before we bring this episode to a close, just to again bring this all in full circle for sports and for mental health, what are some things that y'all hope that will come out of this with athletes and mental health?
Who wants to go first?
Not all at once.
Matt, you go first.
No.
Yes.
Repeat the question. Repeat the question. One more again.
Pass.
Repeat the question again. I'm sorry.
After discussing everything that we've talked about with athletes, the highs and lows, the demands and mental health, what are some things that you hope to see come out of these highlighted features for these athletes?
I think a lot more athletes should come out about their mental health, because I know that's a very serious issue. I feel like they shouldn't be forced to do post-game interviews and stuff like that, because if I lose a game, I'm going to be fucking pissed off, okay? Excuse my language. I'm going to be pissed off. I'm not going to want to talk to the media for real. I'm going to be like Marshawn Lynch and be like, I'm just here so I won't get fined.
He's such an icon. He is such an icon.
You know why I'm here.
They told me I got to be here.
All right.
Exactly, bro. Like, you got to think about this. The media is they control everything, bro. And that's why people, I mean, they control whether you have a good image or a bad image, bro. Because they can literally edit whatever you do. You can have a great game, and then have that one bad moment where you slam down your tennis racket, break a bat, or slam your helmet somewhere and be like, oh, the bad boy or the bad girl's at it again.
That's juicy. That's different. That's new.
Like,
People eat that up.
And you know I'm not like that for real, bro. You know I'm not like that for real.
Right.
I'm just out here. I'm being passionate about my game. Now you want me to come and talk to you after I just lost, bro? I should curse you out.
That's what's feeling this boy.
Like, what do you think you could have done better?
Man,
like what? Like, you asking these stupid questions, bro. Like,
yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree. All right, what about you? What about y'all two, Lucas and Jeff?
Let's rock paper scissors for it, Jeff.
Lucas, just go.
Whatever. All right. I'm just saying, I don't want people to be like, oh, the white guy went before the black guy. Okay. Anyway. Holy shit. Mom, I'm black. What the fuck?
I'm just kidding. Go.
Okay.
Damn.
Anyway.
This is where I get off.
Okay. Okay. So what I want to see in the future. So very much along the lines of what Max said in the beginning, where it's like, I really do think that athletes need to be open about it. I think that if a lot of people follow Simone Biles' example and like they just go at it, it'll be like, it's kind of hard to go against the numbers. Like if one athlete here and there does it, it's a lot easier for people to jump on them. But if people come in solidarity and come together under the same banner, then it's like, oh wow, okay, we can't take them down. So it'll be a much more powerful move for the movement. But also what I really want to see is I want a connection to be made where people realize that, as corny as it might sound, athletes, professional or otherwise, are pretty much just like us. Only difference is they have cameras on them all the time. Like they make one mistake. We make mistakes all the time in our athletics, in our academics, in our work, everything. But when they make a mistake, even if it's small compared to us, our 10,000 mistakes equate to their one mistake based on media coverage. So it's kind of like, look, understand that if they have an outburst or if they have a bad day, like that is probably not just like a one-off. That's like years or months or whatever of just build up. So I think people should really just like do their part and understand that we can't just openly criticize people with no cause. Be sympathetic, support the athletes in their mental struggles as you do when they're doing their stuff. Show that same level of support for your athletes that you love. Because on the level that I'm like, every time, if I didn't win at a tournament, and like I say, this is real make or break. When I didn't win at a tournament and I came back, my people they didn't like discredit me. They didn't suddenly think I sucked. They were like, bro, you'll get them next time. You'll train harder. We'll train with you. We'll get that up. We'll fix those mistakes and you'll get them next time. That's support and love. And I've been on teams where you losing means that people just won't respect you. They're like, man, you trash. Get out of here. You're not worthy of being with us. That was not a fun time for me, but it really does make a difference. Show support, show some love.
Yeah.
Not just having like health and wellness coaches, but also like companies should invest in therapists for athletes as well. Check on their mental health. Like I mentioned before, with the whole success in mind, not just sports, but I mean, it could depend on your household. I grew up in a household that success was very pushed and failure was kind of frowned upon to the point that you didn't really want to fail. So also going into sports as well, it just kind of put that little thing in my head that I don't like failure and I don't like to make mistakes, even though it's part of life. That can really get to you after a while. So to have someone there, like a therapist that can balance the physical health with the mental health, combining those together is going to make a perfect union for a better athlete. So.
And I'll just close off with, You know, y'all have heard the term "it takes a village" for any type of accomplishment, any major growth, any major achievement is always accompanied with the village. And I think that the village should always continue to grow, especially for professional athletes, you know, because professional athletes, you know, they contact each other, they have each other's phone numbers. Like, they should continue to expand their village and just get support. And I think that's always something that's always kind of a controversy, because you get people that want to support you, but they don't want to get shunned by the media because of like their antics or their mannerisms. And I always just think that that's bullcrap. Like, you know, like, support people, support one another, because, you know, athletes, they're all doing the same thing. They're getting paid a lot of money, being put on the spotlight to perform this physical task that the average person cannot do at that level. So if they're asking for help, you should give that to them, because if they receive that help, then they'll continue to, you know, continue to grow and be greater and perform more and do better for the consumers. So, yeah, I just think that, you know, the village should always grow, and people shouldn't have to hide or be afraid from that. But
That's beautiful.
So that has been another episode done. This has been Foursquare. I appreciate everybody for tuning in to watch. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, follow the page. We'll do our best to continue to post and keep y'all updated with what's to come. And until then, we will see y'all next time on another episode.
Of course. And a following closing message for all our listeners out there. If y'all know any athletes in your school, whatever, just like, you know, someone who's going through it, give them all the love and support that you can. There may not be how much you can do, but I promise you, it'll mean the world to them. Show some love.
A simple keep working. A simple keep working. You got it. Keep working. Bro.
Sure. All right, y'all. Till next time. See y'all later.
Peace out.
You already know what it is, man. It's your boy Jeff from the Foursquare Podcast, man. You just made it to the end of the video. You know, it's the end of episode 4, man. And not only is this the end of episode 4, like we hinted in the video earlier, this is the end of season 1. Season 1, and we done. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy that we just came a long way. So I just wanted to take the time for all you squares out there to say we appreciate you. Thank you for making 2021 one of the most impactful years of our lives, man. I mean, it's crazy that we just came up with this idea on the fly, and for you guys to just really vibe with us or watch our content like that, to like share it on Instagram, tell your friends about it, tell your mama, your daddy, your sneaky links, entanglements, all that stuff. But just the fact that you taking time out of your busy days and busy lives to, you know, spend an hour to watch, you know, what we got to say is just really appreciated, man. That's really awesome. And we just really appreciate you guys for doing that. None of this would be possible without you. So we got to give that all to you, you know what I'm saying? Speaking on the end of season 1, man, I think the energy that, you know, that we carry through each episode has gotten better. You know, just the interactions got better, the energy, the vibes of all of us, you know, and we're going to carry that into season 2. And that's right, season 2 is already on its way. We already did episode 5. Due to some technical difficulties, it's going to be a Spotify exclusive, and we may still do Spotify exclusive, so make sure that you check Spotify as well, you know, because we're going to be uploading up there too. But if you noticed, Alex, Max, and Lucas have been saying Foursquare and not Foursquare Podcast. That's because for season 2, we're not just doing the podcast. We're doing other types of content that's going to be exclusive to YouTube. So make sure you really check out our YouTube. There's going to be different stuff on there. I ain't going to say it just yet, but if you check our Instagram, I may even put some update videos on YouTube as well. I'll give you an update on what exactly season 2 is and how you guys can even be on the show. All right? Stay tuned for that. But last but not least, man, happy holidays to you guys, whether you celebrate Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, all of that. We hope that you have a wonderful holidays with your family, spend it with good times, good food, good music, and just good energy with your friends, family, and loved ones. And on top of that, we want to wish you guys a happy new year up into 2022. We're going to give you bigger and better content, man.
So stay tuned with us. We appreciate you for a bomb 2021. We look forward to having a bomb 2022 with you. All right.
Her life, I kept on waiting for shit. Had to learn to go get it myself. Yeah, I'll get this shit by myself. Yeah, I'll make a way for myself. Yeah, I see you got a new dude and that's cool, but I promise we fuck, I won't tell. Yeah, know that you miss it, I tell. Because you still hit up my cell. So just let us out of ourselves. Cause I think I'm losing brain cells. Cause you're toxic, so toxic, still want you myself. Wanted that girl for some years now. Now she unbuckled my belt. And see that she like how I felt. I'm on a mission, no I cannot fail. Killer but not Freddy Krueger.